Alright, so this should have been the video where me and my friends played through the Halloween event, and sorry for the 10 people that were waiting for it, but it's never gonna happen. Because I actually did record the first week of Halloween with my friends, and the second I was done, I realized I absolutely needed to talk about this dumpster fire of a Halloween event. Because I think this is a golden example of what I was talking about at the end of my item video about how the development team all throughout this game has not had the players at the top of their minds when making most of their decisions. Why is this a perfect example? Well, because this year is a complete copy and paste from last year. Only 4 out of the 12 challenges, that's not talking about ghosts, are new. That means 8 of the challenges you will play through are identical to Halloween of 2023. While I completely understand putting in so much work for a single event with a hard deadline that will never be seen again and having to do that year after year after year is a lot of work for a coding team this small. And it would, of course, be a lot easier to just reuse the same map, the same challenges, and the same coding. However, the way they went about it this year was simply not the answer. There are ways to cut down development time without just re-adding the exact same event, and then just putting this wishy-washy statement buried in the text saying that some of you, not all of you, may find that the challenges are similar. Key word here is similar to the previous Halloween, but with just a new aesthetic. And I laugh at this because this is just such a ridiculous statement, and I'll prove it to you in a second. But first, again, I just want to make clear that I think duplication is completely understandable. In fact, I'm aware that duplication, or just reusing ideas and code, is not a new thing, and it has been done in every single Halloween from 2019 to present. And just like they have done throughout the years, there are many ways to duplicate work and do it in a subtle and tasteful way that either makes it feel like a somewhat new challenge or being able to hide it almost completely. Things like just changing out the layout can go a long way from separating it from previous years by taking away focus from certain challenges that are the same or similar, which is something they did every year up until now, with 2019 being a linear path, 2020 having a central hub you reach after completing your first challenge, 2022 was a maze-like setup with something chasing you, and 2023 was its own separate map, kind of like an overworld. Another easy thing you can do is switching the theme of each Halloween, giving each challenge a different feel and a different play, which for example, an example I'll be using a lot here, is 2023, because it had a lot of exact repeaters from 2022, which by now are going on 3 years in a row, which I think is getting a little out of hand, and 4 out of 8 of those challenges were new, so it wasn't as bad as 4 out of 12. And on top of all of that, they changed the theme from a laboratory to a carnival. Moving on, another thing you can do is add new mechanics to a challenge to spice up the gameplay. An example of that would be the stay in the light or you die mechanic from 2019, which they combined with parkour in 2020. And lastly, if you can't do anything else and have to reuse a challenge completely, you can always improve it by listening to the complaints of the people from previous years. But as you can see, Halloween 2024 did none of that. And that is why I laugh at Chad's statement. Because 1, this statement is just copy and pasted from 2023 Halloween, which, the irony, right? And 2, it's just a straight up lie. Every single part of that statement is not true. And I can prove it because they aren't similar with a new aesthetic. They are the exact same. And I cannot stress this enough, that nothing is different, because you'll look at the layouts of these challenges and you'll notice that they are identical from 2023 to 2024. The Herbmancer, the Carnomancer, the Aeromancer, the Plague Doctor. There is absolutely nothing different between these maps. So the challenges play the exact same way as before, which is completely unlike 2022 to 2023 Halloween, For example, Yellow Room and Carnomancer had different parkour layouts. The Plague Doctor and Blue Room had different layouts. They may have had similar gameplay, but they gave you a different playing experience and was something new you had to learn. And also that little overhang in the Plague Doctor does not count when I say completely different. And this of course goes beyond the challenges. Hidden items have the same hiding spots. Ghosts have the same location, and my god, I hate the ghost hunt so. Let me just go off on a rant here for a second, because I cannot stress how uninteresting and aggravating of an experience it is. Even if there's a challenge you hate, at least you have to do it once, right? Nope, you gotta find 8 ghosts 4 times. 32 goddamn ghosts 2 years in a row. Here's the problem. And I just can't understand why they didn't see this. If they just stopped and thought about it for a second or just play tested it. Imagine yourself going into this challenge blind. No help, you only get what Chad says in the announcement. The ghosts are tricky and they're somewhere on the map. So what do? Search the map top to bottom, obviously, because they can appear anywhere on the map, including the Halloween map. And once you find a ghost, you have to research the entire map again. Because remember, you have to find 8 of them, and they spawn randomly in a new predetermined location. So every single spot you searched before now can have a ghost in it. So you have to redo your search and look back everywhere. 8 times. And remember, 8 times is only 1 out of 4 of these challenges. This is also completely ignoring the part where you're definitely going to find out the hard way what tricky means. Also remember, some ghosts are looking in the direction of the most obvious path a person will take. And remember, no guide. So the only way you're going to find that out is the hard way. And I hope you remember for next time. I mean, just looking up the word ghost hunt in the ATF server is just filled with people complaining, asking for help, or giving help. Like, listen to your people. Why do you do this and not learn from your players? And doesn't looking up how to find every single ghost defeat the entire point of the challenge? Because it's not a challenge now, it's a task, so I can just wrap up to get my prize. Almost everybody looks it up. Just look at the numbers on Prof's Halloween videos compared to his normal views. They're at least double. This is just a total and complete failure as a game designer. Like, straight up, I'm not trying to be mean, but if you make a challenge that everybody has to cheat on, then it's simply not a good challenge. Okay, ghost hate over. And speaking of things people hate and haven't changed, that means none of the challenges were improved on from last year. So the things that made people hate them are here to stay. And oh boy, do people hate these challenges. Looking up the name of any of these challenges, such as Luxo, Cryo, Pyro, and you'll find a majority of the people either just bashing that challenge, asking for help, or giving help. And that's not talking about the ones that got voted out, like Arrow and Herb, because they got voted out for a reason, which should tell you all you need to know about what people think about these challenges. The crazy thing about it is they could have done such simple fixes that would have taken no time to do at all, such as removing different wind patterns in the Aeromancer, making it so more than a single tile was left by the end of the Pyromancer challenge, improving mushroom placement on the Herbomancer challenge so you didn't just get stuck and had to restart from the beginning, making it so the Plague Doctor had a clear time limit and that there weren't these large walls blocking your view and path, and changing your POV on the Carnomancer challenge. These would have been simple changes to do that could have gone such a long way at no cost, because myself and many others don't find these challenges to be fun. They overstay their welcome and become a chore for what is just supposed to be a silly little limited time event to get some nice free items. This again can all point back to not thinking about the player's experience. And before anyone says it, you may try to argue that the votes that took place to decide which challenges stayed in Halloween was the developers listening to the community, but when you take a closer look at it, that just simply isn't true. Because these votes had such an incredibly narrow scope, it doesn't tell anyone anything. each vote only stacked 2 challenges next to each other and just asked which one. It's not asking what was bad with it, what was good with it. It's just this game of picking between the lesser of 2 evils, which you can see by some of those extremely close votes. And a perfect example of that would be the Pyromancer challenge, which people just absolutely hate on in the Discord, and yet it's the one that got kept. Finally, after all that voting, there was one last vote to keep the challenges that got voted out as bonus challenges, which the options were, do you want an extra prize or not? And what do you think people are gonna? I want to ask, what even makes them bonus challenges? Just because, I don't know, they don't have anything to do with the ultimate prize? Okay then, but I don't even have to do the Halloween event at all. It's all bonus content for the game. And of course people are going to do the bonus challenge. There's not really incentive to not do it, especially when there's a prize like a riot shield in SMG. At the end of the day, the vote didn't matter, people's feedback didn't matter, and nothing was learned and nothing was improved. It's clear to me at this point that the reason Halloween is the way it is because they just didn't want to or couldn't meet the deadline. So instead of skipping over a year or creating a smaller than normal Halloween, they just decided to reuse Halloween 2023 and then just adding 4 new challenges, which again could have been that mini Halloween. One of which, the Luxomancer challenge, being just a rehash of some old code from the Necromancer challenge. And again, in most cases, I wouldn't be mad at. But when only 4 of the 12 available challenges are new, I expect them to be completely new. At the very least, hiding that they reused some of the new code by changing the look so it matched the theme. Because in the Luxomancer challenge, you're trying to find ancient ruins to cast a spell to then get a key to unlock a wooden cabinet, all inside a prison with Eldritch mutants. It doesn't really line up. It would have made so much more sense and would have been easy to just make it you needed to find numbers to put into a keypad to unlock a security office where the item would have been in. But anyway, back on topic. Instead of doing those 2 options and letting people know, hey, I'm sorry, we've got a lot going on, we still want to give you something, or we'd rather give you nothing than a half-baked experience, we still have a Halloween pack on sale, see you next year. They couldn't even listen to the community feedback about some of the issues with the challenges and improve them, making it go by much quicker and making it a much more enjoyable experience. And yeah, I get that there's talent there and the systems are nice, but it's being put to waste doing whatever they feel like and not making an experience that's fun to play. So I've still got more videos out. I want to try to fix this game as much as possible and kind of wrap up my closing thoughts. And yeah, I'll see you all around.